Genesis 9, God's covenant with Noah. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall on all the beasts of the earth, on all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal, and from each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth, and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on the earth. The sons of Noah. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the 3 sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the whole earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his 2 brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan. The lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers. He also said, Praise be to the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave of Japheth. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Noah lived a total of 950 years, and then he died. Genesis 10, the Table of Nations. This is the account of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, who themselves had sons after the flood. The Japhethites, the sons of Japheth, were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, the Kittites, and the Rodanites. From these, the maritime peoples spread out into their territories by their clans, within their nations, each with its own language. The Hamites. The sons of Ham were Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sabteka. The sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh, Rehoboth, Ir, Calah, and Resen, which is between Nineveh and Calah, which is the great city. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Naphtuhites, Pathrusites, Casluhites, from whom the Philistines came, and Caphtorites. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. Later, the Canaanite clans scattered, and the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and then toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim as far as Lasha. These were the sons of Ham, by their clans and languages, in their territories and nations. The Semites, sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Eber. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Meshech. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah was the father of Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. One was named Peleg, because in his time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Almodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were sons of Joktan. The region where they lived stretched from Mesha toward Sephar in the eastern hill country. These were the sons of Shem, by their clans and languages, in their territories and nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons, according to their lines of descent, within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. Genesis 11. The Tower of Babel. At one time, the whole world spoke a single language and used the same words. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build a city for ourselves, with a tower that reaches to the heavens. This will make us famous and prevent us from being scattered over the earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. He said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. That's why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From that place, the Lord scattered them across the face of the earth, from Shem to Abram. This is the genealogy of Shem's family line. 2 years after the flood, Shem was 100 years old, when he became the father of Arphaxad. After Arphaxad was born, Shem lived 500 more years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad was 35 years old, he became the father of Shelah. After that, he lived 403 more years and had other children. When Shelah was 30, he became the father of Eber. He lived another 403 years and had other sons and daughters. At 34, Eber became the father of Peleg, and then lived another 430 years with more children. Peleg had Reu at age 30 and lived 209 more years. Reu became the father of Serug at 32 and lived another 207 years. Serug fathered Nahor at 30, then lived 200 more years. Nahor had Terah at 29 and lived another 119 years. When Terah was 70 years old, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Abram's family. This is the account of Terah's family. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran became the father of Lot. While Terah was still alive, Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans, the land where he was born. Abram and Nahor both married. Abram's wife was Sarai, and Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of both Milcah and Iscah. Sarai, however, was childless. She could not conceive. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, Haran's son, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, Abram's wife, and together they set out from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. But when they reached Haran, they settled there. Terah lived for 205 years and died in Haran. Genesis 12. The call of Abram. The Lord said to Abram, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So Abram went, as the Lord had instructed him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan. When they arrived there, Abram traveled through the land as far as the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So Abram built an altar there to the Lord, who had appeared to him. From there he went on toward the hills east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built another altar to the Lord, and called on his name. Then Abram set out and continued toward the Negev. Abram in Egypt. At that time a severe famine struck the land, so Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while. As they approached Egypt, Abram said to Sarai, "I know you are a beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but let you live. Say you are my sister, so I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was very beautiful. Pharaoh's officials praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. Because of her, Pharaoh treated Abram well, and he acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his household with serious diseases because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh summoned Abram and said, "What have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say, 'She is my sister,' so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders to his men about Abram, and they sent him away with his wife and everything he had. Genesis 13. Abram and Lot. Separate Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev, taking his wife and everything he owned, and Lot went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock, silver, and gold. From the Negev, he traveled from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the spot between Bethel and Ai, where he had previously pitched his tent and built an altar. There, Abram again called on the name of the Lord. Lot, who was traveling with Abram, also had flocks, herds, and tents. But the land could not support both of them while they stayed together, because their possessions were so numerous that they couldn't remain in the same area. Quarreling broke out between Abram's herders and Lot's herders. At that time, the Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land. To prevent conflict, Abram said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between us or between our herders, for we are close relatives. Isn't the whole land before you? Let's separate. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around and saw that the entire plain of the Jordan toward Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose the whole plain of the Jordan for himself and set out toward the east. The two men parted ways. Abram settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain, pitching his tents near Sodom. But the people of Sodom were wicked and sinned greatly against the Lord. After Lot had departed, the Lord said to Abram, "Look around from where you are, to the north, south, east, and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your descendants forever. I will make your descendants like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your descendants could be counted. Go and walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron. There he pitched his tents and built an altar to the Lord. Genesis 14. Abram rescues Lot. During the time when Amraphel ruled over Shinar, Arioch over Elasar, Kedorlaomer over Elam, and Tidal over Goyim, these 4 kings went to war against 5 others: Bera of Sodom, Birsha of Gomorrah, Shinab of Admah, Shemeber of Zeboim, and the unnamed king of Bela, also called Zoar. These 5 kings had been under Kedorlaomer's rule for 12 years, but in the 13th they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and his allies launched a campaign and defeated several peoples along the way: the Rephates in Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzites in Ham, the Amites in Shaveh Kiriathaim, and the Horites in the hill country of Seir, all the way to El Paran near the desert. On their return, they passed through En-Mishpat, Kadesh, conquering the territory of the Amalekites and Amorites living in Hazazon Tamar. The 5 local kings then marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim, the Dead Sea Valley, to fight the 4 invading kings. The valley was full of tar pits, and as the armies of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of their men fell into the pits while others escaped into the hills. The victorious invaders took all the goods and food from Sodom and Gomorrah and left. They also captured Lot, Abram's nephew, and his possessions, since Lot had been living in Sodom. One man escaped and informed Abram the Hebrew, who was living near the oaks of Mamre the Amorite, an ally, along with Eshcol and Aner. When Abram heard that Lot had been taken, he gathered 318 trained men from his household and pursued the invaders as far north as Dan. Dividing his forces at night, Abram attacked and defeated them, chasing them all the way to Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered everything: the goods, Lot's possessions, the women, and the other captives. As Abram returned from this victory over Kedorlaomer and his allies, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shaveh, the king's valley. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High, brought out bread and wine. He blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Abram responded by giving Melchizedek 1/10 of all the goods he had recovered. Then the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people, and keep the goods for yourself." But Abram replied, "I have sworn an oath before the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will take nothing from you, not even a thread or a sandal strap, so that you can never say, 'I made Abram rich.' I will accept only what my men have eaten, and the share that belongs to my allies, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.